Red sneakers, golden rings, chili dogs, a blue blur. Sound familiar? I'm talking about the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog. As Mario is to Nintendo, Sonic is to Sega. And for this and many other reasons, he's one of the most iconic video game characters of all time. In today's video, we'll take a look at the history of this wisecracking, lightning-fast critter and learn about his ascent to stardom. This is the rise of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic is a blue Mobian hedgehog who was born with the incredible ability to run faster than the speed of sound, which is why he's known as Sonic, as in supersonic. The very first Sonic the Hedgehog was released on June 23, 1991 and has a very basic storyline. In essence, Sonic's mission is to defeat his arch-nemesis, Dr. Eggman, otherwise known as Dr. Ivo Robotnik, as he attempts to seize the 6 Chaos Emeralds and use their power for his own evil schemes.
We can finally get back to building the Eggman Empire!
In order to achieve this, Eggman captures and imprisons the many animal inhabitants of South Island inside of some angry robots as well as some stationary metal capsules. For this reason, Sonic is forced to collect the Chaos Emeralds before Eggman can and free all of his animal friends in the process. So while the plot is simple, the game's design, colourful characters and frenetic gameplay resonated with fans. On top of this, the soundtrack is also pretty fire to boot. Sega had created a protagonist and game that would soon flourish into their most successful and enduring franchise ever. 1992 saw the release of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which once again features Sonic but also introduced the world to Miles Tails Prower, Sonic's two-tailed fox sidekick. This time around, Dr. Eggman wanted to gain possession of the Chaos Emeralds so that he could use them to power his space station known as the Death Egg. The second installment in the franchise features 11 different zones with 20 levels or acts, each of which is longer than those that appeared in the first game. Moreover, Sonic and Tails face Dr. Eggman in a boss fight at the end of each zone. For example, at the end of the first zone known as Emerald Hill, Sonic battles against Drill Eggman, while at the end of the final zone, Eggman fights Sonic and Tails in his Death Egg robot. In spite of the mad scientist's dastardly efforts and mechanized creations, Sonic is ultimately able to defeat him and make it back to Earth safely with the help of Tails. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 proved to be a step up in the franchise and one that expanded on the lore to a fair degree. So overall it was extremely well received by fans and gaming publications alike. But the best was yet to come in the Sonic franchise. Undeniably the most popular and well-received game in the original trilogy was Sonic the Hedgehog 3 that came out in 1994. Seemingly taking place immediately after the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Dr. Eggman's Death Egg space station ends up crash landing on the floating Angel Island, causing both the space station and island to fall into the ocean. It's here that Eggman meets Knuckles the Echidna, who just happens to be the last member of his ancient race. Knuckles is the guardian of the Master Emerald, a precious and powerful gem that is equal in power to the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Eggman deceives Knuckles by making him believe that Sonic was planning to steal the Master Emerald, thus pitting the two characters against one another. So while Sonic is preoccupied with Knuckles, Eggman uses the opportunity to make the necessary repairs to the Death Egg. In the meantime, both Sonic and Tails had made their way to the island using their biplane. Just before making landfall, Sonic uses the 7 Chaos Emeralds to transform into Super Sonic, but while speeding along, Knuckles ambushes him and steals the Chaos Emeralds from Sonic. As with the previous games, Sonic and Tails travel through various zones, facing Knuckles and Eggman throughout their journey. Eventually, Sonic and Tails fight Knuckles at the launch base where the Death Egg is being repaired. The Death Egg then relaunches, but thankfully Sonic and Tails are able to defeat Eggman once more. This in turn causes the Death Egg to crash into Angel Island for a second time. Following immediately after Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic and Knuckles sees Sonic traversing Angel Island to retrieve the stolen Chaos Emeralds. However, he once again encounters Knuckles, who believes that Sonic was simply attempting to take the Chaos Emeralds for himself. After fighting and defeating Knuckles, Sonic sees Eggman stealing the Master Emerald. Knuckles then attempts to put Eggman out of commission, but the mad scientist shocks and subdues him with electricity. Sonic eventually encounters Eggman again in Sky Sanctuary and battles him as Super Sonic. After defeating Eggman, Sonic retrieves the Master Emerald and returns it to Angel Island, allowing the landmass to float back up into the sky. The game also has a separate story for Knuckles that takes place after Sonic's. Knuckles is attacked by Egg Robo, but later Mecha Sonic attempts to defeat Knuckles, leading to Egg Robo being accidentally destroyed. Mecha Sonic then uses the power of the Master Emerald to become super like Super Sonic, but in spite of this, Knuckles is still able to defeat the robot. Sonic then flies in on the tornado and picks up Knuckles, delivering him and the Master Emerald back to Angel Island. While not loved quite as much as its predecessor, Sonic and Knuckles received universally high marks. In truth though, having been released in the same year as Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the games aren't near identical, so the similarities in reception aren't all that surprising. The first game to expand on the Sonic lore was Sonic Adventure that came out in 1998. Dr. Eggman learns of an entity named Chaos that had been imprisoned in the Master Emerald along with a young echidna by the name of Tikal for many years. Eggman decides to destroy the Master Emerald and releases Chaos upon the world. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy then work together to recover the shards of the Master Emerald, gather the Chaos Emeralds, and stop Eggman's evil plot. Eventually, Chaos is able to absorb the Chaos Emeralds and turns into Perfect Chaos. Sonic then transforms into Super Sonic and defeats Perfect Chaos. Tikal then takes Chaos to a safe location so that it can live a life of peace and harmony. The game ends with Sonic going after Dr. Eggman as he attempts to make his escape. 2001 then saw the release of Sonic Adventure 2. Dr. Eggman learns of a secret weapon created by his grandfather and uses a Chaos Emerald to revive it. Shadow the Hedgehog then offers to help Eggman conquer the world, and after encountering Sonic, Shadow escapes while the GUN captures Sonic, who they mistakenly believe is Shadow. Knuckles then faces off against Rouge the Bat and Eggman, destroying the Master Emerald in order to stop them from stealing it. Shadow then informs Eggman of the Eclipse Cannon, which Eggman can charge using the Chaos Emeralds and use to conquer Earth. Tails and Amy then break Sonic out of prison, Eggman destroys half of the moon to demonstrate the cannon's power and threaten the world, and the Master Emerald is restored after Rouge relinquishes her shards. Later, Amy reminds Shadow of what Maria really wanted, and he helps the others to fight the Bio-Lizard, which becomes the final hazard, and finally defeat it. The Ark is then teleported back into stable orbit around the Earth. However, Shadow's energy is depleted, and he falls back to Earth, satisfied in the knowledge that he successfully fulfilled Maria's wishes. Sonic then says goodbye to Shadow as the heroes return to Earth. In 2008's Sonic Unleashed, the game starts with Sonic running after Dr. Eggman. However, using the Chaos Energy Cannon, Eggman subdues Sonic and uses it to unleash a beast called Dark Gaia from the center of the Earth, causing the planet to split into 7 pieces. This also causes Sonic to turn into a werehog when it's nighttime. Sonic is then ejected into space by Eggman, but he somehow manages to land safely on the planet below. Sonic then works with a guide he calls Chip, as well as Tails and Amy, to restore the power of the Chaos Emeralds by finding Gaia temples. He also seeks to turn the world and himself back to normal. After returning 6 of the world's 7 continents back to the way they were, Chip realizes he is Light Gaia, Dark Gaia's opposite. Later, Sonic, Eggman, and Chip fall into the center of the Earth where they face Dark Gaia. Eggman is swatted away by one of the creature's tentacles, and Dark Gaia absorbs the power that turned Sonic into a werehog, thus curing him. With the help of Chip, who summons the Gaia Colossus, Sonic turns into Super Sonic and defeats Dark Gaia, who is forced back into the planet. Chip then hurls Sonic back to the Earth's surface before returning to the center of the Earth himself. 2011's Sonic Generations begins with Eggman floating in space with Orbot and Cubot. An entity known as the Time Eater then appears, allowing Eggman to travel back in time. There he teams up with his past classic self, turns the Time Eater into a robot, and uses it to undo all of the defeats he suffered in the past. Classic Sonic is then attacked by the Time Eater, and modern Sonic and his friends are scattered across various time portals. The modern versions of Sonic and Tails then team up with their classic selves to restore the world to normal. Along the way, they rescue many of their friends such as Knuckles, Rouge, and Amy, and naturally they manage to catch up with the classic and modern versions of Eggman. After transforming into their super selves, classic and modern Sonic are able to defeat the Time Eater and the Eggmen. Everything goes back to normal, and both classic and modern Eggman are trapped alone in white space. The release of Sonic Forces in 2017 saw the Sonic franchise go in a little bit of a more serious direction. Basically, Infinite, a mercenary transformed by the power of the Phantom Ruby, defeats Sonic, who is then captured and imprisoned on the Death Egg. Eggman then conquers the world within 6 months, and Knuckles forms a resistance movement along with many of Sonic's friends. Sonic is eventually freed from the Death Egg by the Rookie, and Classic Sonic appears in the nick of time to save Tails from chaos. Classic Sonic then manages to destroy the Death Egg which was powering the Phantom Ruby, and the Resistance attacks the capital of Eggman's empire, Metropolis. However, Eggman uses a backup power source which very nearly causes the Resistance attack to fail. Thankfully, the Rookie uses a prototype Phantom Ruby to save the group, and Sonic and the Rookie then defeat Infinite. Eggman is defeated soon thereafter, but his exact whereabouts are never discovered. Classic Sonic then returns home, the Resistance is disbanded, and modern Sonic and his allies begin working to restore the world to its previous state. All the while, the Rookie departs to find their own way in life. The most recent installment in the franchise is 2022's Sonic Frontiers. In this open-world platform game, Dr. Eggman finds himself pulled into an artificial dimension called cyberspace after traveling to the Starfall Islands. In turn, Sonic, Tails, and Amy travel to the islands to find out why the Chaos Emeralds have been drawn there. But on the way, a wormhole transports their plane to cyberspace. Sonic then embarks on a quest to remove the boundary between the real and digital worlds. Later, Sonic and his pals learn about the Ancients and their history. They discover that they are an alien race that used the Chaos Emeralds to escape their home world, which was destroyed by an all-powerful being known as the End. Sonic eventually takes out 3 Titans and becomes completely corrupted, trapping him between reality and cyberspace. His friends sacrifice their physical forms to remove the corruption, and with the reluctant aid of Dr. Eggman and Sage, Sonic is able to defeat the last Titan, Supreme. With the help of Sage, Sonic is able to destroy the End, though Sage sacrifices herself in order to achieve this. Sonic's allies have their physical forms restored, and Eggman manages to revive Sage with the aid of the island's technology. And that's the somewhat abridged history of Sonic and the story of his rise to glory. In all likelihood, the next installment in the series will be Sonic Superstars, which should release at some point in 2024. Until then, if you haven't played Sonic Frontiers, it's still a good game, if not perfect. Metacritic scores range from 61 to 75%, so it's not a must-play by any means. However, if you're a long-time fan, it'll probably be something you thoroughly enjoy. And so ends another video, friends. That's the rise of Sonic the Hedgehog. What did you think of this recounting of events? Obviously we didn't include every game in its lore, so are there any other details we should have included? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily gaming lore, opinions, and more. From me and the crew, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later!